Welcome to the Double Chins Wagon podcast, where Rae and Lindsey discuss the absurdities of being millennial moms in rural America and the challenges of living authentically. Please leave a review, subscribe, and interact with us by visiting doublechinswagon.com. Now we hope you enjoy the show.
The back corner, like my back room, the Wi-Fi is struggling
That's weird.
back there.
You should talk to someone about that. Or get like a range
Techie
extender.
husband or something.
Right.
We actually have a range extender for upstairs. We don't usually have a problem in the back room though. It certainly is an issue today though. So I just moved to the front, which is better anyways because it's less drafty up here.
The front part of the house, the original part of the house, is less drafty. Imagine that.
Yeah, it's wild. It's actually super curious because under the floor where I'm at, there's no insulation. There's about 18 inches, give or take, between this floor and just the dirt floor. And so like in the dead of winter,
kind of a crawl space.
yeah. So like in the dead of winter, the floor is definitely noticeably cooler. But like if you wear slippers or socks, like you don't really notice it. But this room has the best of the radiators.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah.
I'm guessing that the main part of the house still has most of the plaster walls, right? Yeah.
It does, yeah. You can actually see them.
Yeah. And that is more of an insulator than drywall.
Nice.
So that could be part of the reason why. Who knows?
These little houses, they're real interesting.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Yeah. It's been lovely. So, how have you been, Linz?
It's been so overwhelmed. Oh my God. I got 30 minutes into editing the episode before the long episode that we recorded and haven't made it past that. So I need to finish that tonight. And, last week was a lot for me because my dad came on Tuesday and that meant, and he had to stay until Friday because he was committed to go to school with Calvin for Grand Friends Day. And so my dad is just in our house. Usually if my parents come, they get a hotel room. But my dad was like, I'm sleeping on your couch. It's totally fine. I'm like, okay, Tuesday through Friday. So most of the week.
Yeah.
And so I was plenty distracted by just his presence, but also just trying to get ready for a kid's birthday and birthday party. I feel like I didn't accomplish anything I needed to last week except for being a mom.
Well, that's something. That's just not nothing.
I need to give myself credit because Calvin ended up having an epic birthday in all ways possible. But yeah, I'm just super behind and it feels like it's just going to keep getting worse because I'm starting a class this week that is through that SBAM foundation grant thing. And she's like, we're going to have homework. I'm like, oh, goody. I need more things to do.
Yay.
But I'm sure there will be benefit to it because the topic is let her speak, a thing to help women find more confidence in public speaking, which I feel like I can always use help in that department because although I've done plenty of it, I feel like during the class intros, we had a Zoom call a little bit ago. One of the things I mentioned was I used to be probably a little too confident. I was a little cocky in my youth, but Charlevoix beat all of that out of me. I've just lost all confidence in most of my abilities. And so it's hard to be and engaging and assertive and good speaker when you're walking on eggshells, basically. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to find my voice again in so many ways.
I hope that that goes well for you.
I'm sure it will. They said, or she said, that the last class that we're going to have is going to be at the City Opera House in front of an audience that we invite.
Ooh.
So, heads up, I want you to be there because that sounds
As soon as you
terrifying.
as soon as you know what the date is, let me
Wait,
know. I'll put it on the calendar.
it'll
Because
be a Thursday.
this is my busy season. Thursdays are usually good. Thursdays I usually have some flexibility. I don't have any standing things on Thursdays.
Good.
So
And
that makes it a little
you,
easier.
even though you offloaded a person at the store, is that the day that you have coverage or no? Still? No. Okay.
No, but the kids have been really great, which is actually a thing that I wanted to talk about. I don't know what happened. My kids have been really good lately. And I don't want to be suspicious,
That's my first thought,
but also I am.
right?
I don't know what it was, but I guess maybe about 3 weeks ago, something just flipped.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if they saw the struggle with Liam and I when he came home from surgery and how wearing that was on me, or if now that we're just settled into the school year better, that things are just on track.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is, but over the last several weeks, there have been a handful of incidences when I had to ask my kids to do something that usually they would have argued with me about or been grumpy or shitty about. And they're just like, sure.
What?
And then did it. Yeah.
Maybe, best case scenario, they're just turning out to be super awesome humans.
I would welcome that. I would not be upset about it at all for them to finally have rounded that corner or whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
where they start to really settle into what their personalities are going to be. Because, I mean, this is how they were when they were little. I never, when my kids were little, we rarely had arguments. They weren't obstinate kids. We never fought over vegetables. They just did things.
Wow, you're lucky.
And then we've now been through several years of that not being the case. So, yeah, yes, I don't know what turned or what happened, but I wanted to talk about it and share that with you guys. That I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling great about it. Literally just right now, Liam asked them to go out and clean up the dog poo-poos from the backyard. And that's usually a thing that they previously would fight about who has to do it. They walked by me and went outside without an argument. Atticus and Clype has a friend over. All three of them just went right out.
A friend to watch, they're out there fucking hitting a bong.
No, it just come back in. First off, my backyard is not that big. We would definitely see.
Oh my God, I need to take this shirt off. I'm way too warm.
I will leave my shirt on.
It feels so much better. Good
It's
Lord.
quite comfortable in this room. As previously mentioned, less drafty in here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been really interesting these last few weeks, and I hope that it continues because I like this new. They're still catty, don't get me wrong. They're still teenagers,
Maybe they're
but
just, because of the difficulties that you guys had, maybe they are realizing that they do play a part in the overall burden of the home and the family system, right? And they can
mhm,
do some things to make it easier for you guys.
yeah,
And yeah, that's incredibly mature
it
and
is.
cool. So speaking of like kids not being in charge, so with Calvin, he gets picked up in the morning by the bus. It requires him to get up way earlier than if we were to drop him off, but it's very convenient to have him get on the bus.
Mhm.
And it forces us all to start our days a little earlier. And the original plan was that after school, Trevor would pick him up, take him to work with him, like he has been doing for the last couple of years. And then they
Okay.
would both come home whenever Trevor's done with work, 5 something, which basically means my day isn't done at 3 because the kid's home kind of thing. But
Right.
there's been a couple of instances where it made more sense for him to ride the bus home. And so now we're kind of on this system where if we tell the school that he's riding the bus that day, then they put him on the bus. If not, he's supposed to get picked up. So last night we were talking and he wanted to come home on the bus today because that means he doesn't have to be at the boring museum for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And he has a new go-kart and a new scooter, things he's
Right.
excited to get home for. And I was like, if you understand that I have to work, then yeah, you can come home on the bus, but I'm not going to be like just hanging out with you. But as far as I know, that's where we left the conversation. However, me being extremely busy today, I completely forgot to tell the school that he was getting on the bus. So I'm on a call and all of a sudden Trevor's calling me and I'm like, shit, this is pickup time and there's something wrong. And he's like, did you tell them that he's getting on the bus? I'm like, no, I didn't. He's like, well, he's not out here. They're not sending him out for pickup. And I'm like, well, he probably got on the bus then. And he's like, well, that's crazy. And then he hangs up once he figures it out. And he's like, why did they just take a first grader's word for it? They didn't hear from either of us. He was probably just like, oh, yeah, my mom said I could go on the bus today. And then he did. And no one questioned that.
One was like, "Meh."
He's 7. What if we weren't home? Then what?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but I'm like, Trevor, don't
So,
be mad at the kid because he probably thought that that's what we were going to do. And that's why he
yeah,
said it. He's not conniving or anything. He just was under the
based on
impression
his,
that,
say
yeah,
last conversation,
yeah,
that was the strategy.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, little kids, 7-year-olds
So
should not be in
ours,
charge of their transportation.
no. So our school district here, the elementary school here, instituted a new system this year. I don't have elementary school kids, so I can't tell you the
Mm.
details of it. But I have lots of friends who have elementary school kids. And so we have a extended learning year and a traditional year at our elementary. So there's 2 tracks.
Oh,
So the Eli, this actual number of days that they're in school, the difference is only like 6 days, 6 or 8 days. Like it's not a lot, but how they have their breaks spread out is very different. And so the Eli kids have a break in September. They have a off week in September because they go back to school in August. So they only have a 6-week summer.
because of the lack of childcare.
So I think part of it originally, they were doing this before we moved here.
Mm.
There were some studies that show that students who have shorter breaks have higher retention.
Makes sense.
So educators are spending less time when they come back from summer break, like doing
Refreshing. Yeah.
doing refresh things, and so they're able to actually cover more content. And it also is helpful for schedule regulation. Kids
Yeah.
don't
They
do
need that
great.
routine.
Yeah, 12 weeks of no, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go back in early August, and they have a break in what they call intersession. So you can send your student to school for regular school hours. They have special programming during those weeks where any of the Eli students, like they kind of all get mixed together during those weeks. So it's not necessarily just their classroom that they're in. Like they may have second graders and fourth graders together.
Yeah.
And so it's a small fee. And by small fee, I mean it's $40 or something for you to basically get daycare. And it's their regular school hours. And so then if you do after school or before school programs, you can still do all of those same things. Or what I have seen parents around here doing is when we have our traditional breaks, so our winter break and spring break, the Eli kids have an extra week, either in the front of or behind. And so they'll end up with a 2.5 or 3.5 week break. And so parents are going on their trips on the off week. And so it makes it just a little bit easier to make travel arrangements or to leave in the middle of the week and come back in the middle of the week, and your student's not missing time. It makes travel more affordable.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there are an endless number of benefits to the Eli program. I think it's super cool. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about freaking pickups. So we have 2 tracks. So Eli is, I want to say like a quarter of the classes, a third maybe of the elementary is on the Eli track. And so they were there early and got to essentially be like the dry run, like the beta for the new implementation. And the first week was not great. And I know that because I saw posts about it on Facebook every freaking day. Why does pickup have to take an hour? Why did pickup take 35 minutes? And so, and again, I don't have students at the elementary school.
Yeah.
So if you are pickup, like you drive, you sit in the pickup line, you use your phone to like send an app that's like when you get to a certain place, you say, I'm here for my kid, and then they send the kid out. And so like, very good tracking of where every student is from the moment they get to school till the moment they get in their parents' car or their adult's car. Excellent tracking. With the Eli students, they got it down at 5-10 minutes, whatever, for pickup. So a reasonable, normal amount of time. So then when the rest of the school started back the first several days, again, we're 45 minutes for pickup or an hour for pickup. It was just taking so long. So part of that, though, is you're teaching a kindergartner a new pickup system. You're teaching a freaking 6-year-old a new thing. In addition to that, parents are also learning this new thing. It's a new technology. It takes a little bit of time to work it out. So within the first week, though, they got it back down to like a reasonable 10 to 15 minutes throughout for pickup, which is, I guess, normal. I've never picked up my kids from elementary school. We live close enough to the school here. They literally always just walked home. Now at the high school, they ride the bus home. So
yeah, because that shit's far away.
it's 2.5 miles.
Yeah, our bus it picks up all the kids all in one batch, and they will take kids to the high school, and then they take the kids to the elementary school. It's kind of weird, but they adjusted.
We have some pickups like that.
Yeah, they adjusted the timing of the school day even after the school year started, just to kind of better coordinate all of that. So, real quick, because you were talking for a really long time.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But I wanted to share something that happened. Because last night I woke up at 2 a.m. per usual. And this can be a good segue into our discussion about a book that we want to talk about.
Yes.
And so after fiddling around on my phone and looking at cars, I don't know why that's like my default. When I get bored playing games, I start looking at cars. But then I was super hungry and I had to pee. And it's always like, oh, should I get up or should I just try to go to sleep? If I get up, then I'm restarting the whole process of being tired, right? But I was hungry, so I got up and got a snack. Then, because I was snacking, I ended up doing work in the middle of the night, and I was up until 5. So needless to say, I'm a little tired. So while you were talking, last night, Calvin started to watch Austin and Ally on Disney Channel. Not Not that that's ever been a thing that I would care about or have on my radar, but he is enjoying it. He watched 2 episodes, and I think it was the second episode had a kangaroo in it for some reason. And I was thinking last night when I was watching this kangaroo and kind of how odd of a creature they really are, that they look like white-tailed deer in a lot of ways. I feel like they have similar faces. And so we see deer all the time. I'm literally looking at 2 of them right now who are laying back in the backyard area, right directly in my view. Don't even have to try to see them. And while you were talking, I looked up at the deer and for a second was like, oh my God, there's a kangaroo because I'm so delirious. I'm so fucking tired that my stupid brain actually thought that for a second.
That's amazing.
So
I told you guys a couple episodes ago about how I thought there was a wolf in my yard,
yeah.
but that's because I was real high. It was wild.
So I went to House of Dank in Traverse City.
Oh.
I had not ever been there, but we needed some things, some provisions, and I like it there better than Loom because Loom is so like sanitary and they have to let you in and you have a person that's with you the whole time. And there, they're just, all right, go back there and you just look at shit and ask questions. It's more relaxed. But after that thing that we were vaping,
Oh, okay.
when you and I were at Grand Traverse Commons, whatever
Yeah.
that thing is, I was like,
Yeah, it's just a disposable vape.
yeah, loved it. And I was like, I want something like that. And so it's totally new to me. And this young, cool guy with long hair is like, oh, are you looking for anything? And so I get my edibles. And then I'm like, I'm also thinking I want to get a vaporizer. He didn't flinch. He's just like, okay, right over here. And then as we're walking toward the case, I was like, did I really just say vaporizer? I said it out loud. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. I don't know if you ever did this with Reese, but got a special thing yesterday. I feel like it's just something you have to do when you own a Chihuahua.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's probably pretty obvious what I'm going to show you, but who knows?
Did you put him in a sombrero?
Yes.
Perfect.
It's so funny.
As one should.
It's so cute. And the little other thing, poncho, it fits him perfectly and it looks so cozy. And I'm like, you should just wear that all the time.
I never put Reese in a sombrero and a poncho, but I did put her in other costumes.
Well, of course.
She was a mermaid. She was a hot dog. She had fairy wings. She does not love the costumes. Oh, she was a lobster, which I think was the cutest one. Molly, on the other hand, my big pixie, she loves to get dressed up.
That's
funny. The problem is she's fat.
Like, what size do you need to get for her? Extra large?
Like extra, extra large. She's a little chunker. She has her own little winter vest and stuff too. She has a little winter coat.
Yeah,
it looks really cute on her.
I bet.
And she loves wearing it. She has I guess maybe not loves, but she does not fight wearing it. She puts it on and she'll just rock it. She also likes to wear sweaters. Her and Muppet both are good at wearing sweaters. Muppet does not like the jacket so much. But I think it's because it's got Velcro on it and like it wraps on like her little pupper nips.
Her pupper nips? Oh God.
So
that just gave me like PTSD from like breastfeeding. Oh my God.
Yeah. So she doesn't because it's got Velcro like across the belly and across the chest. And so she doesn't like that. But she'll wear sweaters. She's all in for the sweater wearing. And it's really cute. It's so hard. Muppet does not like having her picture taken, which is such a disappointment because she's so fucking cute. She sits with her little paws crossed all the time. If she is laying down or she's
like a proper lady.
Yes. It's so freaking adorable. And when she has her little sweaters on, she just looks so cute. Like, I'm looking at her right now and I'm like, can I sneak a picture of her before she notices? But as soon as she hears the camera click, she will run away. Or if she like sees me holding my phone up, if she even sees me holding my phone up in her direction, she'll side eye me and then see if I keep doing it, and then she'll run away.
She's like, fuck this. I'm out.
She's like, I'm not even going to run this risk. Like, you might be playing a game. You might be trying to take a picture of me. I don't know, but I don't like it. So she'll ditch out, which is such a bummer because she's so cute. She's such a regal little queen. And I love it.
Regal. That's such a good word. Like,
it really is.
regal bee tattoos.
Your regal bees.
Remember yesterday how in the group chat I shared my concern with the Geek Squad, like having access to my computer?
Yes. Were there any remarks about mostly naked Nick Jonas?
Yeah. So part of me was thinking, because when I used to have a real job and we had IT, sometimes he would remote in on my computer. Most of the time I would be like, oh, don't mind the background. It wasn't Nick Jonas that works most of the time. But and he's like, oh, I can't see it. It doesn't show me your background. I just see like all the functions. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was thinking, well, maybe that's how it works with the Geek Squad people. And maybe they don't see my almost
it's just
naked
like
Nick
black
Jonas.
or whatever.
Yeah. So we get through the process of them doing what they're doing to fix my computer, and then the guy's like, okay, I need to call you and we can discuss what happened. So we get on the phone. He has an accent, and I don't want to make assumptions, but it sounded like he was from India. And at one point, and just casually in the conversation, he's like, who's the actor that you have a picture of on your computer? And he's like,
Ew, that's my husband. That's what I would have said.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, and he was like, I started saying Nick Jonas, and he's like, Nick Jones? I'm like, Jonas. And I was like, yeah, he's married to Priyanka Chopra. And he's like, yeah, Priyanka Chopra. And he's like, she's Indian. I'm like, I know. And yeah, we had a little moment kind of connecting over that, which was kind of cute, but also embarrassing because I have a picture of her husband nearly naked on my computer screen. But yeah, it was cute. It was kind of fun that, and it ended up being a guy from India. And he's like, I know that stupid white boy that married one of our princesses.
That one looks familiar. That's cute. That is a nice, wholesome story.
I guess.
I like it.
He didn't comment on how inappropriate it was, but I'm sure he was laughing when he got off the phone.
Oh. Yeah, he probably was like, these fucking white ladies. Every time I talk to someone with customer service, I assume that they get off the phone and they're like, another fucking white bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how nice I am or like what happens. Like, I just assume that that's what happens when I get off the phone. I just get annoyed. Okay, so I do have trivia tonight, but I want to talk about this book. And so I've got about 20 minutes because I have to go set up for trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Story of my life. So, All Fours.
God, that was not well timed. Okay, say it.
Sorry. All Fours
by
Miranda July.
So you start because you read it first and shared some things with us in our group chat about it a while back. So go ahead.
I did. I will lead with I did not love this book. I did anticipate it being a popular title, which is a good portion of why I pushed through and finished it. It has gotten good reviews.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not my personal cup of tea. I described it as rich white lady problems that I just don't give a fucking shit about. I found the protagonist to be really whiny and kind of annoying. I did not I wouldn't be friends with her. So it was not a character that resonated with me. Her behavior, like the things that she does in the book, were really bothersome to me because she basically just like lies to her husband and abandons being an adult person, being a responsible parent and partner. There's a situation in the story where I feel like I should have been more sympathetic, but because I was already so annoyed with her as a character that I was just like, fuck off. You're such a whiner. But overall, and I don't remember if I told you guys this before. Overall, good for her. This character went on an exploration of herself and sorted it out. And it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So great for them, which I don't have any like qualms about. It's a story that I didn't think that I needed to read. I didn't take any real value from it. And so I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And Lindsey just finished it. So I read this months ago
Mm-hmm.
because I got it as advanced reader.
Mm.
BT dubs. Best part about owning a bookstore, all the free books that you get before they get published.
That's exciting.
So yeah. I just came home from conference with literally probably 100 books.
Oh my God. So you actually read the physical copy?
Listen, I have a physical copy of it. I listened to it and read it at the same time.
I'll tell you, the one thing that I just couldn't handle was Miranda July and her voice. First of all, I hope that's a pen name. Second, it's a stupid pen name. And
I did not mind the narration.
I don't know why, but her voice was just, ugh. I don't know. No, I'm like, what? Who am I to criticize someone's voice? But when you're listening to something for hours and hours and hours,
It is a long listen.
yeah, it was just that was the main annoyance for me was her voice.
What speed do you listen to audiobooks on?
Usually just 1.2, like a little faster. Sometimes I do regular speed depending on what I'm doing and how much I need to try to pay attention or not, kind of thing. So
that might also be the difference because I listen to everything at 1.6 to 1.8.
wow.
Yeah.
So everyone sounds like chipmunks. Kind of.
I mean, they definitely have a different cadence. If I'm listening to poetry or a book that's written in verse, I will put that at 1.2. I've never listened to anything at 1.
Are you not able to comment on the thing that you shared with us in the group chat? Or should I say it since you have your children around?
Which thing?
That very intimate scene.
It's only Atticus, and he went to the other room.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a weird scene. And that is actually, I think, what started the conversation in the group chat when I was reading it. There's a really intimate scene involving a tampon, which I found to be quite unsettling.
Absolutely.
I did not love reading that experience. I cannot imagine myself. I share a lot of weird things with people. I'm not particularly shy, like about my body. Like I don't love my body, but also everyone has butts and everyone has boobs. Like they're just things, right? So I'm not particularly like shy about like if I'm in a locker room or somewhere, or if I'm with friends or with my partner, obviously. But that was a lot.
It was a
It was
lot.
a
I feel like it was in slow motion too.
yeah, so spoiler, she's in a bathroom in a hotel room with a male companion and they have not been intimate at this point. And that's part of the story is like towing that line about like what kind of relationship do you have with someone? And they've had some curious interactions at this point where there's clearly tension there. And he helps her remove a tampon and replace it. And it's so weird. Like I I'm not a thing
No,
that would ever occur to me to share as an experience
no,
for any reason.
no. I wonder if when Miranda was writing this, she had choices to make, right?
Yeah.
What if the main character was a cup user or had a pad on in granny panties?
Yeah.
Like, tampon is probably the least disgusting if you consider the options of involving another person in that situation,
Yeah.
but it's also extremely gross. Not at all arousing. No. Okay, I'm
I
glad we
don't
can
know that
agree.
I don't know that her intention in sharing that scene was arousal. I do think that it was to heighten the tension
Yeah,
and the intimate connection that she was trying to portray between
yeah,
these two characters when both of them were very adamantly trying to not be pedestrian
yeah,
about their affair.
right.
They're like, we're not just gonna bone, we're gonna do all this other strange stuff,
Yeah,
which
that
I,
technically didn't cross any lines, apparently, except for emotional ones, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
So then Lindsay brought a new perspective to the table that I had not considered because I right off the bat was like, this is an unlikable character.
yeah,
No, thank you. And so I finished the whole book with that mentality. Like I didn't, and that's on me. And Lindsay and I talked about this the other day. Like I could have approached this story differently, or at least tried to be more open-minded about it, even when I did not like this character and may have
hmm,
felt differently about it.
right. Well, yeah. So, of course, I forgot that Ray had talked about this book because she talks about a lot of books all the time. And the reason why I got into it was there was a New Yorker article about it that kept coming up in my feed. And so I was like, well, people apparently are talking about this book. I might as well hop on the bandwagon and just see what's going on. And so when I started to listen/read it, I immediately felt like it was almost me. I do have to put a disclaimer out that there is not nearly as much jerking off in my life as this character did. Holy shit, because that's a major component of the story. She
Hmm.
is praised. I'm also not a lesbian and will never go there. So, those two things aside, the way it described the yearning, the desire for more out of life when you are a partner and a mom, all of it was described so accurately. And even the emotional connection with this young boy that clearly wasn't going to go anywhere or be anything. I can see how that is an easy thing to fall into when you're seeking excitement and that dopamine rush that type of experience gives you meeting someone new, and had sympathy for the character the entire time because even though she's supposed to go on this road trip to New York, and that's kind of her green flag from her family to just have a few weeks to herself, the fact that she ends up not going and holing up in a hotel room.
2 hours from home.
Yeah, no, half hour from home, not
Yeah.
even two.
But yeah, it is much
Yeah,
closer.
yeah. Somehow feels relatable. Although I would have gone on the trip for sure because I like to travel. But I have found myself in hotel rooms where I'm like questioning my entire life. Like when you get the space to be alone and to remember that you are an individual and you're not catering to other people's needs, I think it opens up kind of a lot of curiosity and it can be debilitating. So as I was reading it, I find myself thinking, well, shit. Apparently, I'm not the only one that feels this way. within the confines of a traditional family environment. And then, the entire time, and this is linking back to my comment about waking up at 2 a.m. The entire time she talks about this issue that she's been having where she wakes up at 2 in the morning and can't go back to sleep. So she takes pills to try to stay asleep. And I'm like, oh my God, this is all so familiar. And then towards the end of the book, we find out, and this is like major spoiler alert, which I guess we'll put a disclaimer in the show notes, but all of this fucking soul searching and stuff is because she's going through perimenopause. Guess what? I'm 40 years old, and I think it's pretty safe to say that I'm probably in that same exact boat, because in the book, I think she's 46. So it can happen at different times for different people. I would not be surprised if I started my process early because I started my period early. So, yeah. So when it got to that part, I was like, come on. And I kind of felt defeated because I'm like, seriously? Because the whole thing is she's about to expire, right? Being a sexual being or someone who's desired is about to be a thing of the past, and she has to do something about it. Thankfully, I don't have that yearning in me, but I do feel a lot of the other things that she was feeling. And now that I can attribute it to potential drop in estrogen in my body, I have a lot of anger about that whole situation because fuck men. Let's just say it is so unfair that you all just get to chill with the same amount of hormones in your body basically your whole life, unless you have some rare condition. And here we are riding this stupid ass roller coaster that we all
Our
have
whole
to
lives.
ride. Yeah. And things change all the time. And then you're like in your 40s and all of a sudden you're questioning everything. Maybe a female midlife crisis is just perimenopause. Because I feel like I've been living in my midlife crisis era for a few years at this point. So I guess I'm going to go ask my doctor about some
Seems like
HRT,
a
some
really good
hormone
idea.
replacement therapy so that I can be done with this misery that I've been living in. Holy shit. Thank you, all fours. Not for all the masturbation and the tampon scene, but
Could have done without that, but
yeah, could have done without that. Maybe a little less of that. I mean, I did like the component of not putting a gender on their kid, and the kind of happy arrangement that her and her husband finally settled on, because I think those types of arrangements shouldn't be so uncommon. Because let's face it, being stuck with the same person for your whole life is not
hard.
super exciting. And yes, extremely hard. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think it talked about a lot of things that should be more normalized, but not tampon removal by another person. Never. Can we also say that I think we've talked about this in our chat. No one needs to know these things, but I gave up on tampons, or tamps as I like to call them, a very long time ago, because not because I have a gaping vagina or something like that, because according to a doctor, when I was getting measured for a diaphragm, yes, I used one of
Gaping
those.
vagina.
I know, but I didn't know that there are different size diaphragms when you go to get one. And I had the smallest one. So baby princess style, nothing is wrong down there. But I think all females that have ever experienced wearing a tampon can agree that one of the most unsettling feelings is when it moves. If you sneeze or laugh, or
Yeah.
it always feels like it's going to pop out. And I just can't handle that. I cannot deal with it.
It is a very weird sensation.
Ugh,
It is an odd feeling.
I can't do it.
I'll concede to that.
I would rather just sit in my own blood in a pad, because that feeling, the dangle, it's just the worst.
Pass on that.
One thing I did try recently is the period underwear.
Oh yeah. Sorry
I
guys.
can't.
Sorry, Calliope. Calliope loves them.
I
She's a
mean,
teenage girl. She has a period. Yeah.
I'm glad that she likes them. I thought I liked them until I got to the point where the rinsing out thing, no thanks.
So I do think that that's a huge obstacle. That's a barrier for women of our age where we've not. Calliope, she's always done it.
Oh,
So it's not weird.
yeah.
She's just like, oh, okay. And that's not to say, I mean, she uses other products too as needed, but it's not weird for her to do that at all, because that's the whole time that she's experienced menstruation, that's been an option that she has utilized. Whereas for us, that's not always a thing.
No.
So I would also find it weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also just like weird about underwear.
Why?
So I don't know why. I have always been like a panty princess.
Oh, so you don't
I
get
have so much.
the mega
I have
pack?
so.
Like you always get the fancy ones that come individually.
So I will like occasionally get like, I did recently start wearing, I have a Calvin Klein style that I do like. And so those technically do come like in a pack of like 3 or 4 or whatever. So I'll do that. But generally speaking, like I want cutesy, pretty underwear.
Now that I think of it, not that I've
I've always been
seen
like that.
your underwear a lot, but I feel like I've had a couple of glimpses for a variety of reasons. We've done a lot of things in life together, and
Yeah.
I do think that they've been cute every time.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've always been like that. Like since I was a kid.
Mm.
Maybe it's how I was potty trained, because I've always been a pretty things kind of person. And so when my mom was potty training me as a kid, she's like, okay, well, if you want to wear pretty princess panties, you have to go potty in the potty. And so it probably started when I was 3 years old. Pretty princess panties.
Mm-hmm.
And, here we are 35 years later, still doing the same thing.
Through a
So, yeah.
phase where I went to, I don't know, Victoria's Secret or whatever, but I now just wear regular, brief cotton underwear. I do have some performance, like wicking material.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pantying it up. Granny panties.
Like I do have some like rather plain underwear for like specific things. Like there's some dresses or like some outfits that I wear that really just require a different kind of coverage or support. I have a few like plain, like nude colored or whatever that are, I guess, granny panty style. I don't think I have any cotton.
It's a
That's
good
not usually
material for the vag.
I mean, I don't dispute that. I just don't know that there's.
Speaking of perimenopause and vaginas, there's a person who's a gynecologist who is opening up a new women's wellness kind of practice in Charlevoix. And a lot of it is aesthetic, but she is specializing in the second season, quote unquote, of a woman's life. And the other day she posted on her Facebook page, I need some friends to volunteer to do this procedure because I need to do so many practice runs to get my certification. The procedure, I have not Googled this. Maybe you've heard of it, but this was the first time I'd heard of it. And I have no idea what it could entail. Vaginal rejuvenation.
I have heard of this, like seen it places advertised.
Yeah.
I don't know what the process is though. I assume it's, how you can get the tightening cream for your face? I assume that's what it is. There's actually a girl down here in the Grayling area that does it also. So yeah, I've seen it advertised. I also don't know what it entails.
I'm looking it up right now.
But I assume it would be, I don't know. I don't know. I've never thought about that. Now I want to know, and I would like you to find the answer and report back because I have to go to trivia.
I know. It's a broad term, apparently, that describes various vaginal corrective procedures. So,
So it's like a facial, like a facelift, but for your
no,
vagine.
because it says some of these rejuvenation procedures are surgical. So if you maybe tore or something during childbirth or
Yeah.
ew.
Just
okay.
have a huge gaping vagina.
Yeah. And you need a paper towel roll for a tampon. I like how you just disappeared. You just went backwards.
I'm sitting in the big chair, and so I could lay back.
That note.
Yeah, cool.
Oh my God.
Did I tell you guys quick story? Did I tell you guys how I broke the toilet paper holder?
No.
I got a little drunk. And I was actually doing pretty good. And then I came home and ate something weird on my refrigerator. I'm very bad at cleaning the refrigerator and getting rid of leftovers. There will be leftovers in there for weeks. Okay. And then I'll come home drunk and I'm like, that looks delicious. And then I eat it. And usually it is delicious, but the rest of my body is like, are you fucking dumb, bitch? No. So I was throwing up. And so like I went to like, so the way my bathroom is like the toilet is in front. You guys can't really like see. Toilet's in front here. And there's a little wall here where the toilet paper holder is, and then the shower and the bathtub are to the side. And so like I put my hand up to like lean against the wall to like get up. And I hit the toilet paper holder, and it's got like the two little knobs and then the bar, right? So I knocked off one of the knobs. And I was trying to put it back on because I was like, oh, I'll just like, you put it up and then click it or whatever. I'll just put it back on. I spent several minutes trying to put it back on. And then Liam comes in to check on me. He's like, are you okay, man? I'm fine. I'm totally fucking fine. So I don't say anything at this point. So I go back to trying to fix it. And in this process, I drop half a roll of toilet paper. The toilet paper has come off of it, and there's half a roll, and I've dropped that in the toilet. So now that's in the trash. And then I give up on trying to fix this thing. And so I just set it on the counter and I get in the shower. So then Liam comes in and he's like, oh, you're taking a shower now? I was like, yeah. And he's like, what happened here, babe? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I fixed it. He's like, I don't think you did. I was like, yes, I definitely fixed it. He's like, no. Did you have a screwdriver? I was like, no, but I tried, so it's probably fixed. He was like, if you didn't have a screwdriver, you didn't fix it. Because it has a little screw on the bottom that you unscrew, you put it on, and then you screw it back to tighten it around the thing, which is why I couldn't fix it. So, yeah.
Life is real hard for drunk
Liam
Rae.
did finally fix it.
That's good.
So
I'm proud of him because our cupboard on our vanity in our bathroom fell off recently, and it's just been sitting there waiting for Trevor to fix it. So guess what happened today?
I fixed
it.
Good job. No, Liam did fix the
I'm proud
toilet
of
paper
him.
holder the next day. Like he was drunk too, so I suspect that his motor skills would have been poor in trying to fix it as well. So he waited till he was sober because he makes better choices than me sometimes. Do you know what I said? Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. I love you guys. I gotta go.
Okay, bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bang, bang. Goes the Google Magnum.
If you like this episode, please remember to subscribe to our podcast and head to doublechinswagon.com to learn how you can email or call our hotline to share your thoughts on our recent discussions. We love to interact with you and are always looking for guests as well. Thanks so much for listening. Now go and live your best life today.
No.